the hope or the bull case for Bitcoin is that it's been a real retail product, but that an SEC-approved product could generate a lot of institutional interest. How much institutional buy-in are you already seeing on the back of this recent announcement, if any?
We're seeing quite a bit. So if we look back at 2019, about 71% of the assets we raised last year were coming from institutional investors. But I think that Grayscale Bitcoin Trust becoming an SEC reporting company really should signal to the community that our regulators are really willing and able to engage with the digital currency asset class, and hopefully doing so also opens this product to a broader group of investors.
What does that reporting company designation mean in practicality? And what kind of stamp of approval, if that's the cliche to use, is it?
It basically holds the reporting obligations for Grayscale Bitcoin Trust to be the same as any other public company or any other, exchange-traded product or other financial instrument that investors are using. So you're seeing Grayscale Bitcoin Trust now going to file 10Ks, 10Qs, already filing 8Ks.
Gives you some confidence about accounting standards and governance and all kinds of things like that.
And this is what investors want. If they're going out into the market and trading in publicly traded instruments, this is the level of disclosure that they want and, quite frankly, that investors deserve.
And so for you, obviously, this could make you the major player when people are looking for an ETF as a way to get access to or exposure to Bitcoin. So the price of Bitcoin is now about $10,000. How much of the run-up do you think is on news of the democratization of the kind that you're talking about? How significant is it to unlock this method of owning Bitcoin as opposed to the more traditional ones?
Well, I think the past year certainly solidified for investors a couple of things. First and foremost, that Bitcoin is now a safe haven, a store of value when there are dislocations in the market. And investors can really think about that role, which gold and bonds, quite frankly, used to occupy. Now Bitcoin's part of that conversation. But I think it's really important that investors understand that the prevalence of the Grayscale family of products is really about access products. This is now opening the door to more investors participating in the asset class. And there's a lot of catalysts out there that are causing more interest. We're seeing it with coronavirus. We're seeing it with tensions in Iran. We're seeing any of these dislocations in the market as another reason why investors are looking to it, not to mention the next Bitcoin halving coming up this summer.
I was going to say that crises drive people to hard assets. I'm not sure Bitcoin is a hard asset, but it has that function in a portfolio, I suppose.
It does. And as investors are looking for new uncorrelated return streams, Bitcoin is now really part of that conversation.
So a couple of years ago, a peak was marked by the futures market. Do you think, is there a kernel of worry in the back of your head that bringing an ETF would mark another high point or top in the Bitcoin or
I think what we're more focused on is really the development of the derivatives market around the asset class. We all have to remember that Bitcoin and this asset class as a whole didn't even exist 10, 11 years ago. And so the fact that we now have futures and seeing the incumbents, the Fidelities, the CME Group, Square, Robinhood, all these types of companies getting involved in the space, it really lends itself to validation that the asset class is here to stay.